We're just about to kick off the T16 review, but as a bonus, check the Get FPV link down below because I think for some people, there's like a free copy of Liftoff, which is kind of a pretty cool sim. So anyway, that's there. Let's roll the review.
What are you saying, Granger?
If I've put those props on, I will quit FPV myself. Mark my words, I will quit.
Okay, why? Did you put those on?
Because I did not touch that quad since he opened that bag.
Okay, so do you remember when we sat down, I was setting up and then I said, can you put these props on for me? You sat down and I handed you the drone.
Yeah, you handed me this drone because it had the other props on it.
Damn, he's right, he's right. Okay, I put the props on backwards. Okay.
G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, what we're doing, we're checking out an exciting new radio. There's been a bit of a buzz about it. We're checking out the Jumper T16, that's this bad boy right here. Now, I want to say first and foremost, when it comes to getting the radio, you've got to get it right. You're going to be flying it all the time until you connect to the drone. It's just as important as your goggles. If you're starting out in the hobby, invest in a radio you're really going to enjoy and get a lot of mileage out of, and the same with your goggles. They are the two most critical investments you can make. So today, we're going to be checking out the Jumper T16, comparing it a little bit, because we're going to talk about the X-Lite as well, and then talk a little bit about Jumper's history, and I guess things like the T12 and stuff. You can watch my review up there, because they've come a long way as far as I'm concerned from what they've been there to what we're going to be looking at today. Now, another thing I want to mention too, what's better than one T16 radio, and that is, oh, I just dropped that one on the floor. That's two T16 radios. So yeah, I've got another one. I'm going to be sending that out to my Patreon, so full details, that'll be over on the Patreon page. So definitely, if you want to support the channel, go check that link out. And yeah, sometimes you get some nice prizes in the mail as well. So anyway, that's going to be over on the Patreon page. But let's kick it off, talk about what this radio is, what it does, how is it different, and is it going to be the right radio for you? I'll get this off the bench as well. This radio, the big thing, it's a multi-protocol radio. So traditionally when we use things like the X-Lite, which at the moment is my main radio, you know, we all have to fly around on FRSKY. You can see it's big branding up the top, so you've got to use the FRSKY protocol. And yeah, just generally that locks you to a certain specific type of receiver, and you can't buy into all the models. And you know, sometimes you've got a whole bunch of different things. You might be in the RC game for a long time. You've got a lot of different receivers, a lot of different protocols. Well, that's where the Jumper models really excel, because in the back they've got some multi-little protocol parts right here, if I can get it, excuse me. We've got these little bad boys right here. Now these little modules, they let it connect to any type of receiver out there, or most types of receivers, and yeah, you can kind of bind up to anything. So whether you're flying FRSKY, whether you've got Futaba, whether you're rocking like just some of those toy drones like the Hubson or something you want to connect to, chances are this radio can do it. Now, a little while ago, I did a review on the T12 Jumper. I didn't like it very much, and that's probably the only review I've ever deleted because I was worried I said some wrong stuff in that review. So 24 hours later, I went back after we published the review. People got really upset with me and said, Stuart, your antennas weren't right, all this sort of stuff, because we got some fail safes, and I really couldn't recommend this radio. So I was worried that I did the wrong thing by the company. So I pulled the review, posted it up 24 hours later when I'd gone back out and retested with a new drone, and everything was totally different, and we got the same sort of fail safe. So this one, I just wasn't a fan of whatsoever, definitely couldn't trust it. And today, we're gonna find out, is this radio any better? So let's get into the nitty gritty, turn it on, and first things first, I wanna mention, you're gonna notice so many more switches. It is absolutely covered in switches galore versus something like the X-Lite, and that's because it is much more suited to a person who likes to fly wings and planes and a whole different types of RC models, a little robotics and all that sort of stuff. It is powered. You get some nice, a little 18650 battery option in the back. It doesn't come with the 18650s though. So let's turn it on. And hopefully, look, this is going to be in focus with the roof camera. It's running Jumper TX, but essentially that's just OpenTX. So they've forked OpenTX over and they're running Jumper TX, which is totally fine. You've got this big, beautiful, bright screen down here. But I want to ask, I put a little poll up here, you know, do you think you're going to use the screen very much once you're flying? So for me, that's going to be sucking down a lot of juice. I'd probably be turning that off, because once you've got the goggles on, you're not really making the most use of that screen anyway. So, but it is bright, it is beautiful, and it does make navigating the menu very easy. As far as navigating around the outside and the actual amount of switches, you've got a 2-position switch, so just bear with me because there's quite a few. 2-position, 3-position, 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 momentary. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 switches, 2 pots, 6 buttons across the top. You've got your normal trims. So overall, that's quite a lot of, you know, I don't even use all the switches on my X-Lite. So unless you've got a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on, you're not gonna run out of switches on this thing. It does feel quite nice in the hand, I must say, and I think it's gonna be suited for both a pincher and a thumb pilot. It fits quite well. I've wound my sticks out a little bit, and it'd probably wind them out even more if I was a pincher. But yeah, I gotta say, it does feel quite comfortable, especially for a radio of this size, because it is significantly bigger than something like the X-Lite. So as far as portability goes, I would recommend something like this. Even like, I think it was the T8, which was a little bit smaller. So this one, it's a much bigger, heavier radio, so just be prepared for that. But I gotta say, it does feel nice. Now what we should do, let's get on to the star of the show. So essentially everything in here, it's like the other radios. OpenTX, you can go through it, look at all your menus, all that sort of stuff. But what I do want to check out, and I think I hold down page, is it page? Maybe it's model. There we go. All right, so we can see here, I want to show you this is the internal RF and the external RF. So when you first get this, your internal RF is going to be on, which is crazy because it doesn't actually have anything inside here, because it does all its RF, you know, I guess broadcasting from the back, from this little module. So you're going to turn that on, and then, okay, I've got it set on multi. Check this out, you know, whether you want to fly FRSKY or Hubsan, whatever FRSKY is, you've got a whole bunch of different options here that you can go through. Oh, this is going to be annoying actually. We're going to get back to FRSKY, and you can also change some of these bits, whether you're doing your R9. I think you've got Crossfire in there as well, so this thing does take Crossfire for you people out there. I'm going to leave mine on, what was it on? FRSKY on D16. So that's my favorite part of the radio. The rest is pretty standard. You know, you've got a whole bunch of different options in here and everything you can do. It's quite a powerful radio, very much like, well, it is pretty much OpenTX. So a very, very powerful piece of software. But for new pilots out there as well, I'm going to say you're not going to need 95% of that stuff. Once you've got your switches set up, like the 2 switches for arm and maybe buzzer, maybe turtle mode, that's it. You only need like 6 channels, even though this thing has like channels galore. And overall, that's kind of it on the bench. It's just a standard, pretty powerful radio, but for a pretty good price as well. It is packed with heaps and heaps of features. But the big one for me, I want to take it out the field, find out how it actually feels on the sticks. That's where I'll bring you guys along as well. And we'll find out, is it going to be suited to quads? What's it actually like? How does it feel? Are we getting dropouts? Is it responsive? All that sort of stuff. So overall, I'm going to say it was, if you can set up a Tyrannus, if you can set up something like this thing is pretty much about the same. I did like the scroll wheel it's got there. But yeah, how's it actually feel in the field? So let's do it. Take it out, fly it around, have some fun, see what the other boys think in 3, 2, 1.
Radio out here in the field. Now this is going to be a big one. We've got our racer here. We've got Granger here. We've also got a long range Tony, because we're checking out the Jumper T16. This is going to be interesting. It's a new radio on the market, multi-protocol. You would have seen all that part at the start of this video. But I want to see, how's it feel for me on the sticks? What does Granger think about it as someone who only focuses on racing? And then what does long range Tony think as well, for someone who does quite a lot of wing action, long range action and stuff. So we'll see just how this radio goes and should he get it. All right, let's give you my impressions and then hand it over to the other boys. All right, so we're gonna see how this goes. Oh, well, it's not arming it. Oh, how about, I don't know where the camera is, I flick the right switch, which is this one. Okay, all right. First things first, I know it feels a little bit bigger than my X-Lite, but I've got to say it does feel comfortable. I think it feels more comfortable than the QX7. As far as the stick movements go in my hand, I feel like I can still reach all the sticks, and even for a pincher, I think I'm going to be interested to see what you think as well, Granger, because yeah, for a pincher, it definitely feels, did I just reset my drone? With stick commands?
Smart audio stuff.
Oh no! Where am I? Yeah, I'm definitely in there somewhere. I wonder what I did. Save and exit. Does it still arm? Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna stop moving all the sticks around, but yeah, pretty much I do like it in my hand. The screen is actually a lot brighter, so I don't know if that's coming up. It's a lot brighter than I thought it was gonna be, even on a bright day. That's gonna suck down a lot of juice, but also how much am I gonna use that when I'm actually flying? But let's take it for a spin, see how we go. And the other jumpers, well, they fell out of the sky, so hopefully we can get a little bit and that doesn't happen. Okay, and it always does feel a bit different when you're flying a new radio. Oh, it's not too bad. Just taking it easy flying around, so there's no crazy tricks or anything like that. Oh, I found a perfect place, I reckon, to test the range of this thing, where I'll be able to track it and see how it goes. Rightio. So I am noticing the sort of the click in the middle of the stick, and I don't know if that's just going to take a little bit to get used to. Sort of, I don't know what you actually call that. The center of the stick, you can feel it when it clicks and it gets there. It's
chaser.
What's it called?
You got a dog.
Chasing your drone.
Is there? We got a dog chasing me as well. So I'll just go away. So anyway, so as I'm flying around, okay. You know what, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm not getting any dropouts or anything like that, and it does feel a lot better as far as I'm concerned than the other old jumpers. I do really like the fact you can bind up to any of your drones no matter what the protocol is. I think that is pretty amazing, and I think I would much prefer this on my wings. So the X-Lite, when I fly around my wings, I do wish the sticks were a little bit bigger, and I often get jealous of when I'm watching Tony fly around. So you know what, I think it is massively improved over their last version. What I do want to do, let's go out, we'll watch the DVR, see if we get any dropouts or anything like that. Or any warnings. I love that it's running open TX, or jumper TX I should say. All right, going along here. Okay, that's a
good range.
That's not too bad. So coming back to us now.
I'm surprised at that.
Okay, we'll go over this way. That's a big field over there, right? That we can get to that field?
Yeah. And maybe stay near the tree line so you can see yourself.
Alright, let's try it around the track. Oh, the sticks, I definitely need them a bit tighter actually, and I would probably even shrink them down a little bit. I've wound them out to, 8 volts. I better bring that in.
Is that 3S?
Okay. That, luckily I brought that back when I did. I wasn't paying attention. I'm so glad that we didn't get 8 volts way out over there in that other field. But okay, fine. I'm gonna go get my drone, then do my final impressions. Right, so final impressions, I like how it feels in your hands. I don't know about the centering of the sticks. That feels a little bit abrupt or something like that. For a pincher, it's probably okay. I'm gonna wind the sticks down if I was using it for drone racing. But for my wings, I do really like this. I think this is probably gonna be my primary this is gonna be my primary wing radio, so I'll bind them all up to this. And the fact that I didn't get any dropouts, because I've had some issues with jumper before, that, look, it turns out this one, no issues whatsoever with the reception. I really like it, and multi-protocol, all that sort of stuff. I'm a big fan. But what we should do, but I don't think I'm gonna look at this screen too much. I'm pretty much not gonna use that at all for drone racing. I do still prefer my X-Lite though. A lot of people might ask that. What we should do, let's hand it over to our long range Tony and then Granger, see what they think about it as well. Right here. Alrighty, Tony. So we got the T16 with jumper TX on there. Impressions?
Yeah, do you know, it's it looks a bit better than I thought. I thought the old the T8, the yellow one.
Yep.
I thought it looked a bit Mickey Mouse, but this is.
Is that good or bad?
That's bad.
Okay.
Yeah. But this one here, it looks more substantial. It's similar size to the Tyrannus, a little bit taller, similar thickness.
When you say Tyrannus, you mean your special edition?
Yeah. They feel very similar. So, but what I like is the screen's pretty cool.
Why do you like that screen? Because I didn't even look at that when I was flying.
Look, I like the screen. When I'm doing long range, I run a telemetry script, which gives me sort of height, heading, bank angle and stuff. Yep. And so I can do an artificial horizon on here. So if I'm a long way out and I lost my goggles for whatever reason, you can fly it back home using this as like see the altitude and the airspeed. So that's a really nice feature when you're flying wings. But no, I don't know. I kind of like big screens on my radios. It's got all the same button layout as a Tyrannus, 2 on the top. I think there's a momentary switch on the side, which looks like they've actually copied Tyrannus, I'd say. Yep.
And what about this little wheel? Do you like that?
I do, because it's kind of a mix then, isn't it, between some of the FRSKY ones have got the, I think it's a QX7. Does that have a?
Oh,
it's
got a
rotary
wheel.
dial.
Yeah, this is like Spectrum.
Yeah. So you're right. It's like Spectrum. So I guess they're borrowing switch arrangements from FRSKY, that from Spectrum. The sticks. Get the pingy test. Yeah, they sound very pingy. I don't know, does that make them good or bad? They're very loose.
Well, that's what you have to feel in the air.
Yeah, no, they're very loose. Trim buttons. I don't understand. There's 2 lots of trims. So there's 2 vertical trims, T2, T6. So I don't know what the 6 and the 5 are. They must be on the sides, are they? Look, it looks good. I think from the back,
Oh, it does come with an 18650.
Yeah.
I just couldn't find my 18650.
yeah,
so,
good access to a memory card like
Yep.
that, little SD, and the fact that you can run any sort of protocol on it. I think I saw another review of these recently, and it pretty much bound to anything that the guy had. So
Yep.
no, this is good. I like it. I think I was getting into the hobby. I don't know what the price point is compared to a Tyrannus, but
Yep.
I'm guessing they're going to be a bit more cost efficient. Yeah, I think it'd be a good entry level radio.
Yeah, I think it's about 150. Not 100% sure.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what this little nipple is on the top here. I'm going to pull it out and see what's underneath. A hole. Who knows what that's for? No idea. But no, it's cool.
Ready to take it for a spin?
Yeah, I'll give it a go. All right, let's fill the radio. So no talk of the quad today. Sticks are loose.
And we just as we start, we got like a big noisy train.
To be honest, the grip and feel of it in my hand, it feels a little bit deeper than the Tyrannus that I fly with.
You mean
so
thicker?
a little bit thicker, like I'm holding a slightly thicker book, yeah.
Yep.
But the position of the sticks relative to the palms of my hands, where my thumb goes, feels very, very similar. And I'm sure if you adjust the spring tension, you could make them feel very similar. But I think, like you said, Stu, I can feel a definite knocking in the middle. When it hits the middle, you can hear you can feel a bang. Yep. Some people might like that. It's not something that floats my boat really. But I don't know if you could take that out with a bit of trimming on the springs. Stick location relative to all the switches, very familiar for me. The sliders up the side are a bit different to the Tyrannus. They're up on the shoulders, not down the side. Yeah, look, I'd say this is great. In a blind test, you'd be hard pushed to know a great deal of difference between this and a Tyrannus X9D. And that's really the radio I've been flying with most of the time.
And it does feel weird to fly on a different radio with different spring tensions and all that stuff. No matter, even from Tyrannus to Tyrannus can feel vastly different as well.
Yeah, like I've flown a number of people's radios around here recently, and just the difference in spring tension makes such a difference to how you feel when you're flying.
Sure.
But look, I think as you know, you've tested the range on this. I think with a little bit of setup on the springs, this would be a very, very good radio. Now, how does it compare price-wise,
So
Stu?
I think it's about the 150 mark.
Which is compared to
Very similar.
like a Tyrannus is what they're. If you buy a special edition, they're about 250 or something.
Yeah, but then you've also got something cheap like the QX7 as well.
Yeah. And how many modules does this one come with?
Just that one module in the back.
And this module runs what protocol?
Everything.
This module does everything.
Well, it doesn't do crossfire, but it's like a multi-pro. It'll bind up to 90% of all the stuff that's out there.
Gee, that's pretty good. So if you've got I suppose a lot of different models kicking around, Stu, that you've got the small micro whoops that tend to run a lot on your Turnigy Evolutions and the like, and you've got some wings and maybe running some long range protocol, and then you've got these ones here running a standard receiver FRSKY setup. I mean, it'd be great, wouldn't it, just to be able to have one transmitter that does absolutely everything.
Well, that module in the back is pretty handy.
I think I'm out of battery.
Yeah, I think so.
8 volts. Yeah.
Right, so final impressions?
Apart from the fact I was enjoying flying so much that I ran the battery to the ground. Look, I think it's great.
Would you buy one if you were coming new to the hobby?
Do you know what? If I was coming into the hobby, I think this is a great entry level. For the price, you're getting features that are very similar to what is the benchmark in the industry, the FRSKY Tyrannus.
Yep.
Got a bigger screen, similar jumper, similar switch layout. Easier to navigate the menus. I do like the little jockey wheel. This is great. This looks a little bit dicky though in my mind. Like.
You'd want a better antenna?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to having a much larger one than most.
Too easy.
This is much larger, so I don't know, that just feels a bit dicky. I think the fact, Stu, that you can bind up to so many different protocols really makes this appealing for someone who may have come from, say, a tiny whoop background, and then they trying to get into these, and then they're using a standard FRSKY receiver, and they're like, oh, now I've got to have 2 transmitters. This is great. You can just use the one for everything, and yeah, I like it. It's good.
Thanks, Tony.
Cheers.
Long range? You like this one?
I think it's good for long range. I think being able to have some Lewis scripts running on here with all your iNav telemetry.
Yep.
Assuming this runs iNav, and I assume it will. If you can run iNav telemetry on this, I think that would be an amazing screen for it. And obviously, I'm not sure if this runs R9, but if it doesn't, you could drop an R9 module in pretty quick.
put your module in there.
Yeah, look, I think that's awesome. I love it. Cool.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
This kid, the racer, here we go. So what do you normally use? And you got an ant in your hair?
Again?
Yeah.
They love my hair. They love my hair.
Yeah. So anyway, should Granger get a haircut? Poll up here, yes, no. Okay. So this is the jumper T16. How's it feel in your hands before we take it off?
Well, I
As
should
a
probably
pincer
I
too.
should probably say that I originally used the Tyrannus X9D, and the first thing I noticed with this compared to that is that the sticks, they're a lot higher up on the actual I don't know, on the shell itself, so
Okay, yep.
I can feel that already. It's got the same sort of switch layout as my Tyrannus, so you know the normal standard sort of momentary there. Anyways, all that mumbo jumbo, and it feels surprisingly really nice. I'd probably make these sticks out a bit longer.
Even more?
Yeah, definitely more for me, just because like I'm gonna hit around this the gimbal there, but I'm happy with it. The gimbals like, they sort of feel a little bit cheap, but I mean, if they work, they work. So I guess the only thing
And
to
what
do.
do you use?
The Tyrannus X9D with the Hall Effect gimbals. So
Okay. Is yours a special edition? as
yes,
well?
it is special
Yep.
edition. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
All right, let's take it for a little spin.
Let's try it. So with my Tyrannus, I like to have my sticks notchy and hard, just because I've never actually taken my Tyrannus apart to loosen them. I've just kept them how they came. So this, a lot smoother sticks. I am reaching to get into the middle of my stick. So when I push both sticks towards the middle of the jumper radio, I have to reach a lot more than I do with my Tyrannus. Basically, everyone I race with doesn't like a hard stick. They like the sticks to be soft and smooth and easy to work with. But I guess I'm an odd one out. So it's not my cup of tea, but I know it's lots of people.
Do you find this easier to fly than my X-Lite at the current? Because you know how you
Yes,
pinch my X-Lite.
because it's bigger and like easier to grip, and it just feels a lot more at home for me. So me personally, I would get this over the X-Lite.
As a racer, as someone who
Yep,
pinches.
easy. I'd get this over the X-Lite.
Okay. What about over your X9D?
I probably wouldn't, just because I know my X9D like the back of my hand, because I've had it since the start, and it's just easier to use in my opinion.
What do you mean by that?
So with these, as I said
Easy
before,
to fly
it's
with.
just the sticks. It feels odd how I have to reach very far to get to the middle of the sticks. And I definitely can feel how far up the gimbals are on the radio. It's kind of awkward.
Sure.
The multi-protocol, that's actually pretty
Are
cool.
you getting any dropouts or brownouts or anything like that?
No, feels just like my Tyrannus. I think it's really cool. You can save a lot of money with that. This is just a stock Tyrannus. Is this just a Tyrannus receiver?
Yeah, FRSKY receiver. Yep.
It's cool. I like it. I mean, if this can go to any receiver, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't get it for a
Do you
beginner
have a lot
or
of
anything like that.
toys and stuff that like Hubsons and that stuff?
Too many toys, and if this thing can bind to them, that's really cool.
Alright. Nice. Alright. Thumbs up, thumbs down, Granger,
I would give it.
or thumbs in the middle?
I'm giving it hold on. This is very hard to do. See, I'm holding this. See, I have to do that. But yeah, definitely thumbs in the middle.
Alright, no worries. Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Alrighty, so there it is. There's my review of the jumper T16, and overall I think it is a huge step up from the traditional jumpers that I've been seeing. I didn't really like, I think it was the T12 or whatever. This one I'm a much bigger fan of. For starters, it actually worked, like the reception wasn't dropping out, all that sort of stuff. And the big one for me, the multi-protocol system, on something that works. It's easy to put your crossfire in. It's definitely, well, FRSKY, or some people have been calling it FRSKY on the Discord. They definitely have something to worry about. So it really comes down to what you prefer, whether you're a pincher or a thumber. This one I feel like is a good all-rounder radio. The features you get, the big bright screen, if you want to do more than just drone racing, there's so much you can do here. I am still probably going to use the X-Lite, but for my wing radio, I am probably going to use this, and for everything else, I love the one module to one radio to rule them all. That is fantastic. So all my little Hubsons, other little toys, my FRSKYs, all that sort of stuff, now I can just bind it up to here. That's great. But the big one, you know, is it better than the QX7? And well, that's kind of up to you. For someone just getting into the hobby, I would probably be inclined to say, yeah, I would use this over something like the QX7, because it just offers so many more features, and you know, the price point, you know, especially over like an X9D or something, the price point is absolutely fantastic. So anyway, what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. I don't think I'd be making the switch. If you've already got a radio, there's no point to upgrade to this one, because I think it's going to take a little bit to get used to with how you hold it, all that sort of stuff. Your radio is a very personal thing, but if you're just brand new coming into the hobby, this is definitely a fantastic choice. And I'm going to give a shout out to Bruce from RC Model Reviews, because I know he kind of felt the same way. He liked his jumper radio. He had good things to say about it as well. It fits nicely in your hand. So yeah, overall, yeah, thumbs up, jumper, 2 thumbs up actually, because I got to give it to you. I didn't like your products in the past. You've gone back to the drawing board and you've made something pretty special. So anyway, what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. Is this the radio for you? Would you be picking this up? If you're a first-time pilot, would you be getting this? What do you think about it for the price point? All that sort of stuff. Let's have that discussion. I'll put the link down below. Big shout out to my Patreon. So I've got one to give away for you guys. So yeah, congratulations, someone out there on my Patreon. I'll put that link down below too, but we'll be organizing that soon to send out to you. Other than that, subscribe for more FPV related jumper action, and as always, happy flying. I will follow up with a range test soon too. I'll take it out, do a bit more in like a further video, just a bit of a comparison. But anyway, happy flying.